So recently we have been looking at photographs in the book Crowns by Michael Cunningham and Craig Marbury. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to be designing a hat in a collage image. So here I have a background paper, so I'm going to start with this. This won't get cut, but I will cut everything else that I will then be attaching to this. So I have some different papers here that have solid colors, that have patterns and things on them. So we're going to look at how we're going to be utilizing these together. Now, what I'm going to do first is I need to make the shoulders or the top portion of the woman's outfit that she's wearing. So this pattern fabric would seem more like it's a dress or some clothing just because of the pattern on it. I'm going to turn this over, and I need to draw a shape that sort of starts out as a horseshoe shape. So I'm thinking about her shoulders kind of going up and over and then across. And then maybe if I want to, I can kind of add to the effect. Maybe her dress has kind of puffy sleeves on it, so I'm going to add a shape like that to her shoulders there. So when I cut this out, I will make sure I don't cut that off. I cut it along with it. So I would start by cutting along here, staying on that line, following the line here that describes what the shape of the sleeves is. So keeping it as part of the shape. Then I'm going to stay on this part of the line, and when I get here, I've got to decide, do I turn or do I follow? I want to follow that puffy sleeve shape that I created on there, so that detail onto her dress. Now, by doing this, a lot of people think, well, I need to do her head, and then I need to like put the dress on her. But we're actually going to use overlap to sort of help us a little bit. So the next thing I want to work on is I want to work on her head and neck. And I'm actually going to do that as two separate shapes. So here on this brown paper, I'm going to draw an oval for her head. And if you notice, I have the paper near the dress paper because I need to think, well, how big would this head need to be for a person who has shoulders and a body this size? So I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to be careful to keep the rest of the paper intact because I want to actually use the rest of it to create the effect of her neck and make it look like she's actually wearing that dress. So once I have the oval cut out, I'm going to hold it up to the dress to see, well, how does it look? Am I keeping this one? Do I need to do something to adjust it? So you want to think about the proportion, meaning the size of the oval as it relates to the size of the body that you already created. So when I take this, if I place it here, well, it's like obviously she needs a neck, right? If I overlap it on there, it just looks like she's shrugging or she's like a football player. So what I would do next is I would put the head back onto the brown paper. And I'm going to just sort of make it look like her neck is coming right out from under her head there. And again, I'm thinking about proportions because I'm thinking, well, what size should her neck be for the head that I've already made? Now, if I just go straight across and I attach that on there, it's not really going to look like she's wearing the dress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a curve shape that looks like the neckline of her dress. When I take the head off, it sort of exposes the fact, well, these lines, they're not closed. So I need to go up and then across, so I create a shape I can actually cut out. And then once this is done, we'll see, well, how would this look if I put it all together, and how would I put it all together? So you're cutting out your shoulders, your head shape, and your neck shape, and then we're going to see in the next clip how we will put everything together.